I had the right musicians and the right studio and the right people. And we said, let's go ahead and do it. George Koller has played bass in my road band for the last decade or more. We're very close friends. And we basically just had lunch down on the waterfront in Toronto one day, and I said, hey, George, you want to do an album of standards? And he said, what do you got in mind? So basically, sitting at the table on the boardwalk, I sang him a little bit of Time Goes By. He said, you sing it just like that? And I said, yeah. He said, let's do it. I'm a sucker for a great song, and I don't care where it comes from. If I write it, wonderful. If I don't, that's as good too.
You got to give a little and take a little and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love.
You've got to laugh a little, cry a little, until the clouds roll by a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love.
Genevieve and I have been dear, dear friends for, 10 or 12 years now. I've been a big fan of hers and mentored her and tried to help her out where I could. And it just came to me. I said, you want to try something? Come over to the studio this afternoon, basically. And there's another song that there was never any overdubbing on. Gigi and I got in the studio face to face like this with a microphone, and we nailed it together. She didn't come in and overdub a background vocal. That was done 100% live. She nailed this song the very first time. One of the nice things about living in Toronto is we're in a great band. We just call up our friends. Colleen Allen has been playing with me for the last 10 years. Ben Riley is the son of Doug Riley, Dr. Music, who was my best friend for 40 years. He passed away in 2007. And I was there when Ben was born. So you can imagine what it was like now to have his son recording with me. We would come to the studio around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock every day in the morning, and we'd just all gather around the piano and just throw some tunes around. And when we found a groove, something to let's do that one. Places, and we'd cut it live right then and there.
They call it Stormy Monday. But Tuesday's just as bad. They call it Stormy Monday. But Tuesday's just as bad.
Stormy Monday Blues happens to be one that we nailed it. And that was an afterthought. We'd already recorded 2 tunes that day. And basically we looked at each other and said, hey, we're out of tunes. Anybody else got any ideas? Nope. You want to call it a day? I said, hey, you guys know Stormy Monday Blues? Mark played a few bars. I said, that's it. Let's do it. Places, first take. And that's what's on the album. Never overdubbed a word of the vocals. Never overdubbed any nothing. That's it. So what you're hearing is basically real jazz. There is no overdubbing, no fixing, no nothing.
Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
Doing standards is not new to me. You'll notice almost all my albums, going back to God Bless the Child on Blood, Sweat and Tears and Don't Explain and songs like that, I've always managed to squeak a couple of standards in on my albums. But this is the first time I've done an album which is almost exclusively standards. If you're going to do a gospel tune, because this is really churchy, there's only one Jackie Richardson. He's just one of the great divas of gospel.
Big ships are sailing, slaves all chained and bound, heading for a brand new land that some cat said he just up and found. Lord have mercy.
We decided to do this with a quintet. It just seemed that to interpret these songs You needed intimacy. And we decided to use the same 5 musicians on every track for the whole album.
And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me.
I think some of these songs, like Nature Boy and things like that, don't need big production. We really wanted to get a sense of intimacy. This is an album you sit down with your best girl and a glass of wine, 10 o'clock at night, maybe a fireplace going. It's like, wow, this is very introspective and very calming and a very peaceful album. And nice to do that.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking.
We deliberately chose people not only because of their musical ability, but because of the simpatico that we all had together. So every day coming into the studio, it was old home week. It was a bunch of friends just getting together. And that also comes through in the music.
You'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness and hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.